Okay, here's a story I thought was really interesting. So I was just talking about the Ed Gein story that is happening at Netflix from the Monsters Anthology series. Check out that video if you want. But we just learned not too long ago, actually like a day or two ago, that A24 is apparently trying to get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, of course we know that, we've talked about that before, but apparently it's wanting to make a TV show. So yes, A24 is currently making a Friday the 13th television series called Crystal Lake, but now they want to dabble their hands into making a Texas Chainsaw Massacre series, which I thought was just interesting here. So Deadline reports that first up would be a series from JT Molnar, Roy Lee, and Glenn Powell, though Glenn Powell will not star in it as previously was said. So that would be the TV series right there. And you know, I'm okay with this. Glenn Powell, tremendous actor. I really appreciate what he's trying to do as well for Texas and all of that. JT Molnar, incredible writer. I think JT Molnar is such a talent that I think we haven't even begun to see how incredible he will be. Strange Darling, beautiful film. And of course, The Long Walk, incredible script. So I'm excited to see what JT Molnar will do there. And of course, Roy Lee, one of the most legendary producers who has produced some of the best horror movies of the last like 15 years or so. So that's why I'm excited for that. A24, you could go either way, you know. I'm 50-50 on it. I think they are great at acquiring films. They are really having an eye to pick the best things, right? Because what they've acquired, I think they always acquire great things. So that's that with A24. But they do say apparently the deal hasn't closed yet, but A24 has pole position. So they're pretty much right there. They're about to grab it and they're so close to it. Maybe in the next month or so we'll hear. Another source close to the action tells us that this is all premature, but it's clear that genre label behind Hereditary isn't letting this one go. And you know, we heard it a couple of years ago that A24 really wants to cement themselves away from just this indie darling, right? They don't just want to be known as the festival pickers and the ones that are able to acquire these like smaller films that eventually blossom, right? They want to do that, but they also want to be Universal. They want to be Warner Brothers. They want to be Paramount. They want to be these big gargantuan studios that also have these franchises. And A24 has been itching for a franchise, I think, for some time now. So it's going to be interesting to see if these are going to be the first ones in line, right? Now, of course, there's been other people that have been thrown into the mix of people that want to get the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And that includes Jordan Peele, which of course would probably be with Universal Studios. Then we have Osgood Perkins, who would be right up there with Neon. Another indie darling that I feel maybe is a little bit more prestige than A24 and might want to dabble into franchises, but I just don't see that one. I don't see Osgood really making any leeway here or any way possible close to this, because I feel like Neon has cemented themselves as more of the outlier than maybe what we thought A24 was a couple of years ago, and A24 is more like, we're going in this direction instead, right? So I don't see the Osgood one happening anytime soon. And then Taylor Sheridan, who of course is behind some shows at Paramount, which we could see Paramount as well being a big studio here. So that's the only reason I just don't see Osgood out of all of these names really getting anywhere close. And I could be wrong. They could definitely go forth and do something right there. But it is interesting that A24 also is trying to get film rights as well. So that's what makes me curious about this whole television and film thing. Are they trying to build a Texas Chainsaw Massacre world, universe of sorts? We've seen it in the past with other films in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, right? They have different family members that they go through each of the movies in. I mean, Chop Top, one of them, the hitchhiker, the cook. You know, it's endless. So they could possibly do something like that with each of these characters. They could build sort of a mythology around all of them through the TV show that eventually we see in the film be presented. You know, it's just interesting what they want to do here, because I think the Texas Chainsaw Massacre as a franchise has a lot of potential. We saw that they were able to build a whole video game, which that video game, you know, it went where it went, but I still think that what they were able to do there was interesting, and if they want to expand more on that, they definitely could. There are certain characters that they made only for the video game that I think could be interesting if they were to sort of present them onto the big screen in the future. So it's exciting. I think that there's definitely something here there that gets me very, very like happy that the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is sort of like pulling ahead. A lot of people didn't really like what Netflix did in 2022 with the film. I thought it had some interesting moments. I didn't think it was as horrible as people were making it out to be, and they still think it shined where it needed to shine, and other parts, of course, they kind of fell flat on their face. And that's what Netflix, right? Netflix usually, they're not really going to give us the best of the best. They do come out with a good show every now and then, but at the same time, I wonder if that's when they acquired it, right? A lot of these times, these studios or these like big companies like to really relish in the like victory that these other production companies that made these shows or movies did. They just acquired it and they try to be the ones that are like, oh, look what we did. But then you kind of see the truth when they really get involved with a production, a little bit flimsy. And that's something like with the previous Squid Game, right? The second season is okay. It wasn't as great as the first season. So I think it's interesting. But nonetheless, let me know your thoughts and your opinions on A24 potentially acquiring the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre for a TV show, but also for a film. Is this the studio you would love to see like get the rights to it, or would you rather see Jordan Peele with Universal Studios possibly, Neon and Osgood Perkins possibly, or Taylor Sheridan and Paramount possibly? Or do you have any other ideas of what you would want to see the Texas Chainsaw Massacre do? Let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, that's going to do it for me. Check out our video we just did today on the Ed Gein show that is coming to Netflix. See, Netflix already is like trying to dabble their hands in there by doing a Ed Gein story, which of course the Ed Gein story kind of like was a big deal for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre base, right? And we saw it with the posters as well. This newest trailer as well they did for the Ed Gein monster story is very much so giving Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. And I feel like Netflix is trying to use this as a highlight reel of sorts and sort of showcase it as a portfolio piece of, well, we could do something different if y'all let us do it, you know, which is kind of like a Netflix move right there. But let me know your thoughts and your opinions down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell. 50,000 subscribers is our goal. Let's get to it. Check out our reviews from Tiff and check out the upcoming reviews we have for other movies as well. I have about like 20 or something films I've watched in the last 2 weeks, and I need to get reviews done for all of them. So that's probably something I'm going to be doing this week. So stay tuned. As always, I'll see you all next time. Stay safe, stay positive.